But I feel like it's up to us to convince this lady that we're right and she's wrong. Maybe we should take turns and talk for a minute or so. You know, try it on for size.
That sounds fair enough.
Very fair.
Supposing we go by our numbers?
Okay, let's start off.
Right. You're first.
Oh, well, I just thought he was guilty. I thought it was obvious.
In what way was it obvious?
I mean, nobody proved otherwise.
Well, nobody has to prove otherwise. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. The defendant doesn't even have to open his mouth. That's in the Constitution. The Fifth Amendment. You've heard of it?
Everyone has. Well, yes, I've heard of it. I know what it is. What I meant was, I just think he's guilty.
No reasons? Just guilty? There's a life at stake here.
All right. Let's just get to the facts. All right, number one, let's take the old man who lives on the floor right underneath the room where the killing took place. At 10 minutes after 12, on the night of the killing, he said he heard loud noises in the upstairs apartment, and he said it sounded like a fight. Then he heard the boy say to his father, "I'm going to kill you." A second later, he heard the father's body falling, so he ran to the door of his apartment, looked out, and he saw the boy running down the stairs and out of the house. Then he called the police. They found the father with a knife in his chest.
And the coroner fixed the time of death around him.
That's exactly right. Now, what else do you want?
Doesn't seem to fit.
The boy's whole story is flimsy. He claims he was at the movies. That's a little ridiculous, isn't it? He couldn't even remember what picture he saw.
That's right. Did you hear that? You're absolutely right.
He didn't have any ticket stub.
Well, who keeps a ticket stub from the movies?
That's true enough. I suppose, but the cashier didn't remember him either.
And the ticket taker didn't also remember him.
Look, what about the woman across the street? If her testimony don't prove it, then nothing can.
That's right. The woman across the L tracks. She saw the killing, didn't she?
Let's go in order, please.
Just a minute. Here's a woman who's lying in bed and can't sleep. It's hot, you know? Anyway, she gets up and right across the street, she sees the boy knife his father.
How can she really be sure that it was the boy when she saw it through the windows of a passing elevated train?
She's known him all his life. His window was right opposite hers, across the L tracks. She swore she saw him do it.
I heard her swear to it.
Okay. And they proved in court that you can look through the windows of a passing elevator train and see what's happening on the other side. They proved it.
Weren't you just telling us a minute ago that you can't trust them, that you can't believe them?
So?
Well, then I'd like to ask you something. How come you believed her? She's one of them, isn't she?
You're pretty smart, aren't you? Take it easy.
Come on, sit down. What are you getting all upset for? Just relax.
But they did take us out to that woman's bedroom, and we did look through the windows of the passing L train, didn't we?
Yes, we looked.
And couldn't you see what happened on the other side?
Well, I didn't see as well as that they told me I would, but I did see what happened on the other side.
You see? You do see, don't you?
Let's calm down now. It's your turn. I'll pass it. That's your privilege. How about you?
I don't know. What convinced me was the testimony from the people across the hall. Didn't they say something about an argument between the father and the boy around 7 o'clock that night? I mean, I could be wrong.
I think it was 8 o'clock, not 7.
That's right, 8 o'clock.
They heard the father hit the boy twice, and then saw the boy walk angrily out of the house.
Right.
What does this prove?
Well, it doesn't exactly prove anything. It's just a part of the whole picture. I didn't say that it proved anything.
Anything else?
No.
I don't know. Most of it's been said already. We could talk all day about this thing, but I think we're wasting our time.
I don't.
Neither do I. Go on. Look at the boy's record. He stole a car. He's been arrested for mugging. I think they said he once stabbed somebody in the arm. They did. He was picked up for knife fighting. At 15, he was in reform school.
And sent to reform school for stabbing someone.
This is a very fine boy.
Ever since he was 5 years old, his father beat him up regularly. He used his fists.
So would I on a boy like that. Or if I couldn't, I did his father did.
You're right. These kids nowadays, the way they are, you know. I've got a kid. You know, when he was 8 years old, he ran away from a fight. I was so ashamed. And I told him, I'll make a man out of you or I'll break you in 2 trying. Well, I did. I made a man out of him. When he was 15, we had a fight. hit me in the jaw. Right here. Big kid. He ran out of the house and I haven't seen him for 3 years. Maybe I'm better off. Right, kids. You work your heart out. Alright, let's get going here.
We're missing the point here. This boy, let's admit, he's the product of a filthy neighborhood and a broken home. We can't help that. We're not here to go into the reasons why slums are breeding grounds for criminals. They are. I know it, so do you. The children come out of slum backgrounds are potential menaces to society.
You said it there. I don't want any part of them. Believe me.
I've lived in a slum all my life.
Now wait a minute.
I used to play in a backyard that was filled with garbage. Maybe it still smells on me.
Now, let's be reasonable. There's nothing personal.
There is something personal.
Come on now. She didn't mean you. Let's not be so sensitive.
Who did she mean?
I can understand your sensitivity.
Now, let's start the arguing. It's your turn.
All right. Well, I had a peculiar feeling about this case. Somehow I felt that the defense counsel never really conducted a thorough cross-examination. So many questions were never asked.
Well, it doesn't change my opinion of the guilt of the boy. Still, I agree. The defense counsel was bad.
So?
But this is the point.
Yeah, what about the facts?
So many questions were never answered.
Yeah, and what about the questions that were answered? For instance, let's take that cute little switch knife. You know, the one that fine, upright boy admitted to buying.
All right, let's talk about it. Let's get it out here so we can all look at it again. Madam Foreman, I'd like to see the switch knife.
You saw the thing once. I don't see why we have to look at it again. What do you think?
The lady has a right to see what it says.
All right with me.
This knife is a pretty strong piece of evidence. Don't you agree?
I do.
Now, let's get the sequence of events right as they relate to the switch knife.
The boy admits to leaving his house at about 8 o'clock after being slapped by his father.
Or he was punched.
Or punched. He went to a neighborhood store and bought a switch knife. The storekeeper was arrested the following day when he admitted selling it to the boy.
Well, I think everyone agrees that this knife is a pretty unusual knife. It's pretty hard to forget something like that.
The storekeeper identified the knife, said it was the only one of its kind that had stock. Why did the boy get it? As a present for a friend of his, he says. Am I right so far?
You're right.
You bet she's right. Now listen to this lady. She's talking sense.
Next, the boy claims that on his way home, the knife must have fallen through a hole in his coat pocket. Says he never saw it again. Now there's the story, folks. You know what actually happened. The boy took the knife home and a few hours later stabbed his father with it and even remembered to wipe off the fingerprints. Everyone connected with the case identified this knife. Now, are you trying to tell me that someone picked it up off the street, went to the boy's house and stabbed his father with it just to be amusing?
No, but I'm saying that it's possible that the boy really did lose the knife and that someone else stabbed his father with a similar knife. It's possible.
Take a look at that knife. It's a pretty strange knife. I've never seen one like it before in my life, and neither had the storekeeper who sold it. Now, weren't you trying to make us accept a pretty incredible coincidence?
I'm not trying to make anyone accept anything. I'm just saying that it's possible.
And I'm saying that it's not possible. What are you trying to do?
Yeah, what is this? Who do you think you are?
Look at it. It's the same knife.
Quiet, let's be quiet.
Where did you get it?
I got it in a little gun shop around the corner from the boy's house. It cost me $2.
Hey, now you listen to me.
I'm listening.
You pulled a real smart trick here, but you proved absolutely zero. Maybe there are 10 knives like you, so what?
Maybe there are.
The boy lied and you know it.
And maybe he didn't lie. Maybe he did go to the movies and maybe he did lose the knife. And maybe the reason that the cashier didn't remember him was because he snuck into the movies and was too ashamed to say so. Is there anyone here who didn't sneak into the movies once or twice when they were young?
I haven't.